My name is Brian Cullen, and I'm just going to talk about my game Mayhem in Single Valley. It starts off here with a little bit of a joke about playing video games back in the 80s, where on the Commodore 64 you might try to load a game and it could take maybe an hour and a half or so just to crash before the end of loading. Sometimes we put a game on and it could take so long that you'd just go outside and maybe kick a football around or something like that. I think here it tells you maybe to go have a cup of coffee and relax. Yeah, this is a fun little thing. It may not end up in the actual full game, but for the demo I thought it was a nice little joke, a nice intro to the retro style of the game too. It loads up the screen in the same way that the Commodore 64 loaded up screens too. We're kind of breaking the rules a little bit in terms of the amount of colours we can produce. The game itself isn't meant to be a direct emulation of Commodore 64. It's a hybrid of all kinds of Nintendo, Super Nintendo, all kinds of graphics and different styles, and that's a part of the sound as well. So we're not really being too strict. We don't want to limit ourselves, we just want to have some fun. Here's a little joke about the game crashing. The other joke is that you can press a key at any moment, so you never really have to load up this screen here. Some people might actually press through it before it even gets to this point, but just thought it was kind of funny that it kind of tells you, yeah, you don't have to actually do this nowadays. It's made on Unity and it's a modern system and you don't have to actually load games, especially pixel art games. They can load up pretty quick nowadays, almost instantaneously. This is just some demo info, just saying that this is actually a development demo and it's not fully representative of the entire game. And this is just a little quick overview of the moves. You can access these moves within the game itself if you just press C. This is just a thank you to everyone who's helped out in the game. I'll let the credits roll here. Obviously, you can skip through some of these parts if you're watching the video and you feel like you don't want to watch the entire credits roll. I'm just putting this in here for reference. So in the game there's always going to be cinematics to contextualize where Jack, the main character, is in his head or in his journey. So this is a mini game, and it's not the main game, is more like an RPG style game. A little bit of a mix between maybe Zelda, Undertale and The Last of Us. Jack has to catch little versions of himself jumping out of a plane, which is kind of strange, but it'll make a little bit more sense in a few minutes. So he just has to capture these guys, avoid the fire coming from the jet engines, and also avoid the debris. He has to collect 10 passengers, so up in the corner here it just lets you know when you've caught all 10, it will be grayed out and you'll see a green check mark. Okay, so this is an example of failing on the mini game. Jack got burnt by a jet engine fire, so you get these game over screens. There's like dedicated game over screens depending on whatever way you die, and some of them are pretty humorous. That one there just kind of informed us that Jack was actually having a dream and he died of a heart attack in a dream because it seemed so real. In the main story, Jack is actually going to be leaving his house, so this is kind of one of those anxious dreams you get the night before you do something big like move home or go on a holiday or something like that. So he's having this anxiety dream and basically he's catching himself, which is kind of like his ego or something like that. It's a Freudian opening minigame. hoping that the more characters you catch, the more kind of bonuses you can get as you begin the game. So if you're actually very good and catch all characters, you might get some crazy little bonus item. Also, it'll just go towards your general stats and stuff like that. If you're trying to play the game and do as good as possible, it would let you know that you caught or saved 100% of Jack's egos. So when you do catch 10, sometimes you can kind of fly up to the right hand side of the screen and just avoid the debris altogether. I'm going to put in some kind of weird cheat octopus that comes out and grabs you if you ever do things like that, which I think would be funny to play around with. So when you see these opportunities in the game that you might be able to exploit, the cheat octopus might come out and grab you. Okay, for this bit here, you actually have to tap the spacebar over and over again. Jack actually fights you on it. Doesn't want to get up, he's just tired. Bad night's sleep, obviously, especially with dreams like the previous minigame. So we have a little kind of tutorial area here too, just giving you information on the right hand side. So this is a morning exercise. Jack can run about the room. He has to do these in sequence. You can turn on and off lights, and there's a lot of kind of dynamic lighting stuff going on in this game where it changes color, it changes in transparency, opacity, depending on the time of day. And everything's interactable too. All the items are kind of rendered individually, and you can go up and interact, and Jack will usually say something, or you can go up to the painting there and he'll speak about the painting. The music and the sound effects and everything are rendered separately, so you can adjust them. And if you save the game, it will remember where you set them before. All the objects in the game, if you move them around, pick them up, throw items around, everything's saved exactly as it was when you left it off. So we've kept that in mind. Basically, whatever way you rearrange the world, it will remember for the next time. So Jack can earn camera points in the game, which can buy favors with later. At this point, he's just going to save this spider from the bathtub. Flush it down the toilet, no. Put it out the window, yes. And he got 1 karma point there, and he got the Spider Guardian title. That could be attributed to trophies or achievements in Steam. So we'll have lots of little bonus things you can do in the game to boost your karma. Lots of everyday stuff in the game too, where he looks out the window and he comments that the neighbours are fighting again and things like this. Even here, there's kind of stories, even based on the objects. He's saying he's surprised that the bowl hasn't been pawned yet, and in a way, that's just kind of telling us more about his family life and his everyday life, that, things are getting sold and there's problems in the house. He can't go out the front door because he is grounded for getting up to mischief. You find out later in the story what he did, but anyway. That's his little brother, baby bro, and he's actually upset he can't find Gilbert, so Jack can have a look. I know where it is, so I'll just get Gilbert for him here. But I haven't got any more inventory space left, so I need to find my backpack. Just gonna talk to Mam here. So we're not gonna help her out just now, but you can save the game at any point too, which is nice. I'm going to have multiple saves later on as well, just in case you get stuck in an area or, you make a mistake and you can't get out of it. So Jack didn't help out his mother there, and that was a game over screen talking about how he lost all motivation, became lazy, and never left home. So there's environmental hazards in the game. Basically, Jack lives in a very dangerous world where anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So he's got struck by lightning there. He wondered if his mobile phone had instantly charged in his pocket. So there's little social commentaries in there. Three strikes and the lightning is out. A little bit like baseball. Now if he opens the inventory, he's got a lot more space. He can actually pick up different things. So those are actually stolen trainers, and if he puts them on, which he will, he loses a karma point because he stole them. Again, there's a little bit of backstory there, and it will be revealed later in the game. The world is kind of getting distorted now too. You see the screen's getting a little wobbly looking. That means Jack needs to take his meds because he actually has a condition where if he doesn't, he can actually die. So he needs to take his meds, the world will clear and he'll be fine. So the audio and visuals gets distorted to a point where you can hardly see. And you will get a game over screen saying that Jack actually died as well. There's going to be lots of vehicles in the game, fun vehicles that allow you to access areas and do things that you wouldn't be able to do on foot. Okay, just saving the game again. Now this time we're going to actually say yes to helping out Mother, and we'll get a list here of objectives to complete. This is just to give the player some direction. We might come up with a different way of presenting these or try and put them in game a little bit more, but the list at the moment is just handy for people playing the demo so you don't get too lost in terms of what's availability at a time. You can complete quests out of order. You can do them when the quest system isn't up there. You know, you can put Baby Bro to bed before you talk to your mother and it will automatically be completed in the quest box, so it's pretty flexible that way. You don't have to do everything in linear order. You can just do whatever way you like. Again, there's a lot of contextual inner monologues where if you go up to something and its state is changed, it will give you different dialogue. Anything that Jack says internally, there's no audio with it, but if he's actually speaking to his mother or father or speaking out loud, you will hear little kind of beepy sounds that represent the voice. Now we're going to try a mini-game here. It's kind of an in-game mini-game. Jack has got to clean up because Murphy's pooping too much. I'm going to purposefully fail this just to give you an idea of how these things happen, how you get the game over screens. The actual compost bin was stuck in that place up there. You can actually drag it and make the minigame a lot easier for yourself, but I'm just going to do it the old way first. I got some feedback from players and they said it was a little too difficult, so I decided that you could actually drag it. At the top you can see the different toxicity levels, and it's just reached 100%, so we're out of there. Poop leaked into the foundations. Weeks later, Jack's family died of dysentery. Lots of alternative ways to die in Mayhem and Single Valley, and I'm looking forward to adding loads more later if we actually bring it to full production. Okay, so this time we'll make life easier for ourselves. We'll move the compost bin all the way to the middle of the garden near that cluster of poops, so things should be a lot easier. By having the yellow trainers on, Jack moves a little faster too, so it makes this mini-game easier too. He's a little bit more speed as he's running around. You can run barefoot too in the game if you want. You can always change your shoes around and your clothing. The idea is that if you want to go by somebody who's sleeping or you want to be quiet in a particular area, you might go barefoot where the trainers might squeak or something like that. There's going to be lots of options to kind of play around with different configurations of items and clothing and stuff to beat levels and beat enemies. Okay, so the mini-game has been completed. He's just moving the bin there. Yeah, so he's just going to cheer up Mother, give her a flower. Mother has a more important role in the game later on, but at the beginning it just kind of shows that she's a little downtrodden and that the family take her for granted. We give that kind of information about her through the environment as well. If Jack goes up to the coffee maker, it says that the coffee's gone cold and that his mother left it in the microwave again, which is something I always do when I'm too busy too. Jack's just after eating a banana, and after he eats a banana he's got a temporary strength boost, so he's able to throw that ball really far. And the ball could be used for throwing across a canyon or for triggering sinkholes and different things like that. At the moment, Jack is trying to find everything for leaving home, so his passport, he's got his backpack already. He wants to find his plane ticket, and he needs to find his savings. His savings are safely hidden in his bedroom, and we'll go there and get them in a minute and just pick up some more meds. Okay, so the worlds are kind of interactive. You can drag and push and pull objects. So Jack's gonna remove his bed here so we can actually push this. And underneath is his savings. And you can see how the light actually that's coming in the window has been blocked off by the wardrobe. We might make it so that the room goes dark as you do something like that. He has to say goodbye to his entire family. So Grandad is in hospital in the city, and she's just reminding him to not forget to say goodbye to him, and he'll have an important role later on too. There's random dialogue in the game too, where characters just kind of speak across each other. Now Dad won't actually leave the couch unless he's motivated to do so, and also he won't allow Jack to leave the house, so Jack needs to get him out of there. I've made the game, so I know how to do these things a little easier. You can get him to follow a trail of beers, and the animals like squirrels and different animals that appear later on in the game, they all have favourite food types, and you can use those to leave trails for them to follow and bring them to a desired location. I'm just going to keep taking my meds here, just in case. We need to get beer again. So he's just following the beer trail. So the objectives sometimes have little hints in them too, so stumbling up the stairs, get Dad to bed, is basically telling you what to do, without being 100% direct. And he's much more peaceful when he's sleeping. And if you turn off the light, you just get lights out karma points too, because it'll help baby bro and Dad have a good sleep. Okay, and Jack is just saying goodbye to baby bro too. He's a little bit anxious about leaving him behind. So he's planning to go to art college. It just says that there's a cold coffee left in the microwave. So just one last goodbye, say goodbye to the dog, Murphy. Here Jack is going to have a look out the window for one last time, and this is where we kind of hit our inciting incident. Again, this is slightly placeholder, so we'll have a lot more animation and sound effects in this section. There's a strange creature Jack's witnesses, and he's poisoning the water supply for Single Valley. What does the poison water do only? Yeah, makes wildlife crazy. That poor old lady wasn't expecting that, I don't think. So this is a jogger who mistakes Jack as the culprit, and he runs back to town and tell everybody that Jack has poisoned the water supply and he's caused a lot of trouble. In the past, Jack has caused trouble in the town. He's like a local troublemaker with some issues. Murph is scared by something. A crazy squirrel has just taken everything that Jack has worked hard to achieve. His passport and savings have all been taken away, so he'll need to retrieve those, but he wants to protect his family first, so he's going to run and talk to Mam and warn her about what's happening. Being an art student though, his imagination's a little wild, so she doesn't believe him. Now Jack has to barricade the house. I'm hoping to put in a little bit more tension here where the doors start being pounded by crazy animals and stuff. There's another way to get karma points, just turn off the TV for a while. Just lots of news alerts and terror alerts and stuff because Single Valley is such a dangerous place to live in. Sometimes it's good just to ignore that, so Jack has decided to turn off the TV and create a bit of peace in the house. Alright, he needs his meds. He lost his meds when the squirrel took his backpack. You can see it's nighttime here and things are getting dark. At the moment it's just kind of going through in a sequence, but we'll probably create different times of day for different sections of the game so that we get a more realistic sense of time progressing. The clouds here get bigger and smaller and stuff too, they kind of grow. Okay, so he needs to barricade the front door. Not sure why I'm throwing that banana. So he's barricading the back door. Family should be safe for the moment. And now he needs to escape through this hole in the fence. He needs to go and get his backpack. He needs to get all his belongings back. Okay, so you could use this compost bin as a shield. Actually, there's multiple ways to deal with these squirrels. You can actually, well, we'll have a look at some of them. You can throw acorns, that'll distract him for a while. You can use your defense abilities to defend the squirrel attacks. And you can kind of just run for it as well, you know, try and run by them. They're pretty quick, so running by them usually doesn't work so well. You can also combine the acorns with antidotes and poison. So if you actually put an antidote and combine it with the acorn and feed it to one of the squirrels, it won't attack Jack. It will just become passive, and you can see that they have this green drop on their mouth, but if they have antidote, they have a kind of blue drop on their mouth, so it's kind of color-coded whether they're crazy or not. You can also use poison to your advantage, so if there's a passive squirrel you might poison to attack maybe someone who's hunting for Jack. So here's using the defense to escape. The squirrels will be a little bit more active in their idle states as well. At the moment they kind of stand there a little bit, but I'll have them kind of searching around for food and searching for Jack as well. Is it to be continued screen just gives you a little preview of some of the different animations we've made for the game. So some of the stuff that's not in the demo has been actually created. Okay, the squirrels are back. This time I think we're just going to use the acorns to distract them for a few minutes. Yeah, they're all running for it. Just dropping an acorn there, and he's kind of bringing him to a location away from that hole in the fence, and he's going to sneak through. Try one or two more things here. So I just want to use up my meds here, and I want to actually just get a piece of antidote here just to show you how we can pacify a squirrel if it's crazed. This ability mightn't be until later in the game. It's actually based on a part of the story, so it might be a lot later in the game before you have the ability to do this, but for the demo I want to just kind of get it working. We can combine things. We can make a list of combinations for any items. It's going to be pretty robust. Well, I didn't do it right there. I think the passive squirrel wasn't the one that jumped me. Try that again. In the inventory, when you look at some items, they give you some history behind the items too, just to extend the story. So like it will tell you probably shouldn't have taken the golden trainers and stuff like that. Sometimes we leave things a little ambiguous so everything isn't too on the nose. Okay, so this time we have an antidote acorn. I think that squirrel now got blue in his face, and we can actually use him as a squirrel shield. Not a human shield, but a squirrel shield. I definitely want it to be not entirely open world, but definitely loads of different options for completing problems and solving problems, and the combat itself. Jack's always passive, doesn't actually hurt any animals or anything like that, but he can try a number of different ways to protect himself. We're just going for a classic death. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed this playthrough. Thank you.